lang. Around 500 question in all din. Meron pang mga dagdag yan. Kaya, uh, hindi ko na lang din, para hindi tayo magmadali kasi last time, nung nag-refresh ako, binabasa ko yung question, nagmamadali ako kasi kulang sa time. So, babasahin ko na lang yung sagot or discuss ko na lang yung sagot. Then, further explanation na lang. So, at least kahit pa paano, mabawasan tayo ng time. Dahil sobrang daming natin i-discuss na question. So, answers na lang. So, okay na, maybe start. Ayan, yeah. Kasi kailangan ng momentum ko. Biglang umandar. Ayan. Ay, umandar. So, number 1. Who is the architect of this structure? Ay, ayan. So, letter D. Mas maganda. By the way, mas maganda kung nasagutan nyo na to. Then, dinodouble check nyo na lang kung tama yung mga sagot nyo. So, letter C. There's Scott or poor Swank, Hayden, and Colonel. Next, number 2. So, the structure is Budwig Teller Flagship Store. Letter A. That is letter A. Then, number 3. Who is the owner of the building? Donald Trump. Then, number 4. What is the official name of the structure? Siyempre, Trump Tower. So, eto question na to, ang sinasabi na lumabas nung si Donald Trump ay nanalo as US President. So, kung nanalo siguro siya ulit nung tumakbo siya, nung tumakbo siya last election. So, baka lumabas na naman tong question na to since nasa question bank na to. Okay? So, next, number 5. So, who was the architect of this building? B. Ernest Flagg. Next, what is the name of this building? D. Senior Building. Next. So, number 7, this building is called One Liberty Plaza. Then number 8, who is the architect of this iconic structure? Skidmore, Owens, and Merrill. Next. Number 9, the architect of Liberty Place is Helmut John. Kung familiar kayo kay Helmut John, siya yung architect din ng Sony Center. Familiar sa parang mga high-tech na building din yan. Then, number 10, the building is called 2 Liberty Place. Next. So, number 11, what is the name of this structure? Einstein Tower. So, familiar ba? Imposible magkakamali na kayo dito at isa to sa laging ginagawang example ng expressionism, architectural style. Then, who was this architect? Erich Mendelsohn. Then, number 13, what is this castle called? Malbork Castle. Then, number 14, who built this castle? Teutonic Knights. Next, who is the architect of this new development at Wolf Point, Chicago? So, the answer is Cesar Paley. The number 16, the owner of Wolf Point is the Kennedy family. So, nandiyan na rin naman sa mga refresher book nyo ang parang description tungkol dyan. Ayun, bibilisan na natin dahil marami pa kasi tayong i-discuss pa. And very limited ang time. So, next, number 17, what is this structure called? It can be found at Turtle Bay, New York. So, the answer is headquarters of the United Nations. So, eto, kung meron kayong makikita, eto, may lalabas dito na 5 asterisk na red. Ibig sabihin yan, lumabas to last pre-pandemic or yung exam bago mag-lockdown. So, that was January 2020 board exam. Kaya yan, yung 2020 board exam, puro ang lumalabas sa questions naman ay yung mga locations. Kaya naloka-loka ang mga estudyante dahil kaya naloka-loka yung mga estudyante dahil dun sa descriptions, talagang parang akala nila no-brainer questions na kasi familiar nga sila dun sa structure pero hindi sinasabi yung structure. Tapos, i-describe lang. Then, ang tanong pala talaga ay saan matatagpuan tong structure na to. Kaya, ayun. So, next. Who was the director for the planning of planning for this project? So, the director for the planning ng UN headquarters ay si Wallace K. Harrison. Then, the following were deeply involved in the design of this building except for Renzo Piano. So, meaning to say, itong si Oscar Niemeyer and si Le Corbusier, yung dalawang architect na nagtatalo dun sa pagiging pangalan ng UN headquarters. Then, syempre, familiar tayo with Wallace K. Harrison as the director of planning. So, hindi na-involved dyan si Renzo Piano. And kung naalala nyo yung mga diniscuss ko noong compare na si Oscar Niemeyer was deeply influenced by Le Corbusier, isa sa mga projects nila together ay ito, yung UN headquarters. So, next. This is the St. Peter's Basilica. So, number 20, who won the competition for the design of this grandest building in Christendom? So, that was Donato Bramante. Then, who was the immediate successor of the original designer of St. Peter's Basilica? Rafael Santi. So, kung familiar kayo, itong si Donato Bramante, unang gumawa ng original plan na parang ang base dyan, base na sa Parthenon. So, syempre, since maraming architect ang na-involved. So, after ni Donato Bramante, nagbago. Then, ito na lang si Rafael Santi na lang ang pinilit ibalik ulit sa original plan. Pero syempre, since marami ng revisions dyan, nag-iba pa rin talaga itsura. So, next, 22. So, the answer, St. Peter's Basilica is an example of Renaissance architecture. Syempre, kung titignan yung era nung na-interview yan. Then, he reverted the plan of St. Peter's Basilica back to the Greek cross, Baldassar Perucci. Then, Bramante's contribution in St. Peter's Cathedral. Ito na yung pinakamalapit the first architect, meaning to say yung original architect. Then 25, contribution of Gian Lorenzo Bernini. Not a contribution of Gian Lorenzo Bernini. Siyempre, the do. Isa si Gian Lorenzo Bernini sa may pinakamaraming contribution sa St. Peter's. Ito na yung halos pahuling phase ng St. Peter's. Then, ito, how many columns sa piazza ng St. Peter's Basilica? So, 284 Doric column. Pero, kung meron sa choices na 284 Tuscan column, so the more correct answer is 284 Tuscan column. Anong difference? Parehas to kasi, diba? Si Doric and si Tuscan na simple columns, namang simple. Pero ang pinaka-simple dyan ay si Tuscan. Then, ang difference silang dalawa, si Tuscan lang ay walang flutes. Then, unlike kay Doric meron, pero halos pagkamukha sila ng capital. So, next, the answer for number 27 is Michelangelo. Next, who is his greatest rival for the St. Lawrence Cathedral? So, Lorenzo Ghiberti. Then, next, number 29, Basilica de Santa Maria del Fiore or the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore at Florence, Italy. So, yun. Next. So, pag Hagia Sophia, automatic yan, Byzantine architecture. Ito, napansin ko, nung last board exam lang, talagang ang lumabas sa mga question, kasi dito sa topics natin, halos may mga humalong HOA. No? Kaya kumuha din ako ng mga HOA topics na parang na-discuss na rin dito. Then yung iba ay yung kay Ma'am Leia. So, napansin ko, halos dalawang architectural style lang ang lumabas. Ay, parang about history ang lumabas sa board exam. And that is about Gothic architecture and Byzantine architecture. At napapansin ko, itong si PR Bowen na to, favorite nila ang Byzantine architecture dahil even nung last board exam, pati nung pre-pandemic board exam, talagang merong Byzantine architecture na lumalabas. Ayun. So, mas maganda kung maging very familiar kayo dito at para kasing paulit-ulit na lumalabas si Byzantine architecture. Pero malay natin, baka this time hindi naman lumabas si Byzantine, iba naman. Kaya at least be familiar, isa dyan yung mga elements or mga characteristics ng mga architectural styles, so talagang pinakabisado naman natin. Then, yung architecture timeline. Next. So, when it comes to Hagia Sophia, syempre, it is the best example of Byzantine architecture. Then, number 31, there is a prominent series of windows layered in multi-levels of the church. So, what was the main purpose of the windows? So, letter C, the answer is letter C. It is for structural stability. Then, to be specific, to achieve an uninterrupted nave. Kasi kung maalala, paano ba ang plan ng mga Byzantine churches, syempre parang may Greek cross yan, or centralized ang plan nila. Kaya talagang compacted pag centralized. Then, ang idea pa rin naman kasi ever since na maka-achieve ng mga long span construction. And kung maaalala, ito naman talagang Byzantine, itong Hagia Sophia ay at first hindi naman din talaga siya mosque, kaya nga pinagtatalunan kung ano na ba siya talaga. Pero at first, it was a Catholic church, then na-convert into mosque, then ngayon museum na nga lang ang peg niya. So, pabalik-balik lang yung ano niya. Yung nangyari nako-convert kasi ang Hagia Sophia. So, same idea pa rin kasi syempre, sa nave gusto natin uninterrupted yung nave, or meaning to say walang obstacle or walang poste sa gitna. Kaya nga naman, paano ma-achieve yun? Limited lang yung construction. Kaya, ginagawa nila instead of buttresses, kasi yung buttresses ay nauso na ng Gothic architecture. Kung familiar kayo sa architectural timeline, diba? Mas unang Byzantine after Gothic. So, yung style naman nila dyan ay multi-level layers of window. Parang idea din ng Gothic churches, pero ang difference nga lang nila, thicker ang walls nito, kaya hindi masyadong kinakailangan ng mga flying buttresses like Gothic churches. Kasi sa Gothic churches naman, thin walls. So, next. Ito, yung makikita nyo dito, yung blue na to, it is na, ibig sabihin nito, ito lumabas lang nung last board exam lang. Kaya, isiningit ko na lang dito, wala to sa refresher book nyo. So, pwede nyong isulat na lang din sa refresher book nyo. So, kaya walang number siya. So, which is not a feature of Byzantine architecture? The answer is classical order. Then, kasi ito ay may halong Islamic architecture na Byzantine and Ottoman architecture. Ottoman influence. So, next feature of Byzantine architecture, which it has 4 bases with the support forming a triangle. The answer is pendentive. The pendentive din naman, lumabas din. Meron din question about pendentive dyan sa refresher book natin. Kaya parang naulit lang din talaga. Ayan, so okay na guys. Since wala to, pwede nung isingit na lang yan sa mga refresher books. So next. So naman, ang nabasa lang namin ay questions about Hagia Irene, pero walang naibigay na specific questions that time. So, naglagay na lang ako ng mga information about Hagia Irene. Then, isa to, sa mga hindi na-convert into mosque, unlike Hagia Sophia. Then, it is also an example of Byzantine architectural style. Then, ayan, matatagpuan din to sa Istanbul, Turkey. And also, the first Byzantine church by Constantine I is Hagia Irene. Ayan. So, isingit nyo na lang din dyan. So, next. So, going back sa refresher book nyo, number 32. So, the answer is Mihrab. Next. Number 33, St. Mark's Basilica, or to be specific, St. Mark's Cathedral. The next, 34, so the materials was used for the construction of the pyramid stones. Then 35, the answer for the finish naman of the exterior of the pyramid, limestone. So next, so kapag horizontal construction, or meaning horizontal conveying system naman, transferring the material from the production area to the construction during the construction of the pyramid. Ang gamit nila dyan ay sled. Then hila-hila yan. Kaya talaga sinasabi brute strength nga daw talaga, matindihang lakas. So parang ganyan ang ginamit para matayo ang pyramids. Kaya hindi totoo yung mga sinasabi na alien ang gumawa ng Pyramid of Giza. So talagang ano yan, pinatong nila yung stone dyan, then naglagay sila ng sled. So hila-hila nila yan, then yung iba tulak-tulak yan sa likod. So next. So kung yung isa ay horizontal conveying system, yung isa, ito naman number 37, paano yung vertical conveying system nito, or paano yung pag-carry ng blocks of stone onto the top of their known structure, or onto the top of the pyramid, so by earthen rocks. So ayun pa rin naman na since hila-hila nila yan, napaka-waste of time kung ita-transfer pa nila yan, kaya ang ginagawa nila, magpe-prepare na lang sila ng ramp, paakyat, ayan, earthen rocks, then hihilahin na lang din nila yan pataas. So yun pa rin naman talaga. Yeah, meron lang din kasi lumalabas and nagka-clarify sa akin na sa amin pala na meron daw sila nakikita na wooden crane ang lumalabas na sagot sa internet. Meron nga kasi mga findings na ang wooden crane ay first na na-develop or na nagamit sa Egypt, pero most probably hindi siya ginamit dito sa Great Pyramids kasi isipin nyo na lang wooden crane yan tapos bubuhatin yung napakabigat na stone. Mas unang babagsak or mapuputol yung wooden crane bago mabuhat yung stone. So ito kasi wooden crane, dyan daw kasi nakuha yung idea ng tower cranes na ginagamit natin ngayon. Next. So for 38, the answer is square level. Next, 39, construction of each portion and how the materials were transferred. Then 40, both employed a unique construction method. It is commonly thought that the terraces were built with minimal equipment. So yun lang din naman talaga ang amazing, di ba? Yung laging iniisip ng mga tao kung paano nagawa tong mga ancient structure na to. Kaya, syempre, isa sa malaking factor yan, kaya nagagawa yung mga amazing structure na yan, or mga wonders of the world, ay dahil wala silang internet, marami silang time, nakapag-focus sila ng bongga para matapos yung mga ganyang structure na yan. Kaya talaga, very amusing kung paano natayo. And yun naman din talaga ang, yun din yung isa sa mga dahilan kung bakit sila na-consider as a wonder of the world. The next. So, what is the advantage of modern day construction? Faster to build. Then, what is the primary purpose of the pyramid? Religion. Next. Where did the Great Pyramid derive its name? From the name of the pharaoh. And then 44, the pyramids are found at Giza except for Merikari. Kasi ang Merikari ay matatagpuan at Saqqara. Next, pyramid at Giza is the tallest. Khufu. Then highest slope, Khafra. Then, ayan. So, Menkaure is the smallest, Chephren is the second tallest, and Cheops is the largest. Then, for whom it was built? Khufu. Pharaoh Khufu. So next, why are the dead mummified? For successfully reverting to the afterlife. Then 49, similarity of pyramid construction with modern day construction conveying system. Then 50, lowermost chamber of the pyramid is called the subterranean chamber. So, okay na? So next, the Temple of Ammon in Karnak is what kind of temple? Cult temple. Then, grandest Egyptian temple is Karnak temple. So next, 53, papyrus. Then 54, to let in subdued light into the temple. So next, that is the Temple of Ammon, Karnak. Temple of Ammon at Karnak. And next, Abu Simbel is the mortuary temple. Then, ito, I guess malinaw na naman. So, what style was used for the facade? So, kung hindi kayo familiar sa structure na to, and kahit di naman kami may pagdinaguguluhan kung ano bang structure to, identify nyo na lang based sa mga elements na meron dito na nakikita nyo or na-identify nyo. So, tinatanong dito, what style was used for the facade? So, paano ba since ito yung nasa drawing, so ano ba yung mga prominent na elements ang makikita nyo dito? Siyempre, itong arch, yung pediment, and meron kayong makikitang order. So, itong pediment na to, saan siya, anong architectural style to prominent? Siyempre, meron ang pediment existing yan during Greek era pa lang, or Greek architecture, sa Greek architecture. Then, also prominent din siya sa Renaissance architecture. Then, Paano naman? Pag Romanesque, best ano nga rin pala dito, kapag hindi kayo sure, method of elimination talaga, best solution. Kaysa yung mga hula na lang, so at least mabawasan nyo muna yung sa choices or ma-eliminate nyo na lang muna yung unnecessary. Then, yung nakikita nyo na lang na best answer. So, yung Romanesque ba, dapat i-eliminate? Most probably siya yung pinakamalayo dito. Bakit? During Romanesque era, ang arches na ginagamit natin dyan ay semicircular arches. Ito, kung mapapansin nyo, pointed arches. And yung pointed arches, lumabas na lang siya during Gothic era. So, tanggal na tong si Romanesque. Then, si Greek naman, mukhang matatanggal din siya kahit meron siyang pediment. Dahil, pedimented orders. Bakit? Dahil during Greek era, hindi pa nagagamit ang arches na to. Nagamit ang arches, or parang nag-umpisa, ay parang na-perfect nga daw niyan, nung Roman era. Nakakagawa na sila ng mga semicircular arches nga dyan. And sa Greek architecture, lagi silang post and lintel. So, matatanggal na talaga. One has to go. So, matatanggal na rin talaga to si Greek architecture or si Greek style. So, ang natitira na lang ay si Gothic and Renaissance. Bakit pwedeng si Gothic matira? Dahil pointed nga. Ayan, pumasok na lang kasi itong pointed arches nung Gothic era kasi mas nakita nila mas matibay ang mga pointed arches instead of semicircular arches kapag malalaki na yung span. Pero, kung mapapansin nyo, simula Gothic era, or Gothic era lang, doon na sila hindi sumunod sa, ito yung sinasabi natin, architectural style na hindi sumunod sa classical antiquity or parang sa classic architecture. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo sa Gothic architecture, wala kayong makikitang mga orders na very prominent sa mga classic architecture. And binalik na lang itong mga orders na to, orders and even pediments, binalik na lang itong mga orders and pediments na to during the Renaissance na lang, and tinanggal nila yung idea ng Gothic architecture dahil nga ng Renaissance era. Sinasabi nila na hindi maganda ang Gothic architecture, pangit ang Gothic architecture, at mas maganda pa rin ang classic architecture. Kaya yun yung binabalik nila, the revival, the rebirth. So, kaya ang mas tamang sagot dyan ay Renaissance. Kasi, and by the way, for these arches, sa Gothic era, yung mga arches natin ay mas maninipis. Yung mga pointed arches natin ay mas maninipis compare yung mga after this period na. Kasi mas naka-achieve na sila ng longer span. Pero, sinusunod pa rin nila, nakita nga nila yung or na-strengthen yung idea na mas matibay kasi talaga ang mga pointed arches compared sa semicircular arches. Kaya, mas nag-evolve na tuloy yung mga arches. Merong mga tinatawag na Tudor for center, Tudor, ganyan. So, ayan yan. Itong mga arches na to ay pwede nyo maging reference sa kung hindi nyo pa kabisado yung mga arches, pwede nyo gamitin yung kay D.K. Ching na visual dictionary as a reference. Kasi lumalabas din yan sa board exam. Then, what type of architecture was used in the ornament? Siyempre, Renaissance pa rin. So, yun. Next. So, anong structure to? Ang structure to, I guess familiar naman ang lahat. This is the Taj Mahal. Best example ng Mughal architecture. Then, what is the most striking feature of Muslim architecture? So, the answer is domes. Bakit domes? Kung babalik tayo dito, ayan. So, kung mapapansin, ang mga Muslim architecture, Islamic architecture, symmetrical. Ano nila? Pag sinabi natin ang arrangement or distribution, pag sinabi natin symmetrical, mirror image, lalo yung mga sinaunang Muslim architecture, mirror image yan, or symmetrical distribution. So, lagi natin nilalagay sa gitna as its focal point sa mga Muslim architecture ay yung dome. Bakit hindi yung minarets? Kasi since mirror image lang siya, hindi na siya nagsa-stand out. Parang additional elements na lang din yung peg. So, yung mas focus mo tuloy ay yung nasa gitna, yung nasa focal point or yung nasa center line. Kaya talaga, di ba, yung axis natin, even dito sa, ano na to, sa pool na to, or yung sa pond, talaga yung axis niya ay leading towards dun sa center. Kaya talagang ang lagi mong nakikita yung dome. And as always naman din talaga yan. Kapag naka-dome roof ka, or meron kang dome dyan sa plan mo, talagang, kapag may ginamit kang dome, most of your plans ay, or parang ang typical na plan mo ay centralized, kaya nga sa Byzantine architecture, dome roof talaga ang ginagamit. Then, yan, sa mga Islamic churches, dome roof pa rin. At yun na talaga yung nasa focal point, nasa gitna. Kaya nga centralized kasi going to the center lahat. Kaya dapat siya rin yung nasa gitna. So, the answer is yes. Kaya yun na rin yung striking feature. And yung idea, kung babalikan natin yung ordering principle, yung idea ng hierarchy, na kapag meron kang dome, siya yung dapat na significant. Siya yung dapat na mas malaki. Siya yung dapat na na-emphasize. So, the answer is, ayan, domes. Also, yun ang so the focal point of Taj Mahal is dome pa din. Next, what kinds of windows are prevalent in Muslim architecture? So, horseshoe and ogee. Next. So, it is a mixture of Islamic, Persian, Turkish, and Indian architecture. The answer is Mughal architecture. And isa nga sa finest example ng Mughal architecture ay ang Taj Mahal. Ano ang difference ng Mughal sa Moorish architecture? Difference lang nila ay ang Mughal ay may Indian influence. Ang Moorish architecture, pero magkapareha sila na Islamic, Persian, and Turkish influence. So, ang Mughal lang merong Indian architecture influence. Kaya nga, ang Mughal ay very prominent sa India. Then, ang Moorish usually makikita sa Spain. Next. So, 64. It is generally a tall spire, minaret, then. So, anong counterpart niya sa Christian architecture? Bell tower. The next. Bilisan natin ng konti. For courtyard, ang courtyard in Islamic architecture is sad. Then, tribune is upon columns from which the Quran is recited and prayers are intoned by imam. So, the answer is dikka. Next. It is a sanctuary or praying chamber in a mosque. The answer is masksura. Then 68, it is where the Muslim pray. Mosque. Next. So, from what style did Muslim architects pattern their structure? Saracenic architecture or Indo-Saracenic architecture. Next. So, 70, which among the following has the best statement about Art Nouveau and Gothic architecture? So, the answer is letter C. Art Nouveau used whiplash lines and Gothic architecture was rude and barbaric. So, these are the example of Art Nouveau. And, ayan. So, at the same time, ang parehas Art Nouveau and Gothic architecture, parehas silang hindi na sumunod sa principle ng classic architecture na kung saan, di ba, sa Art Nouveau, wala na kayong makikita mga orders din, like Gothic architecture, wala na kayong makikita orders dyan, or principles of classic architecture. Kaya nga sinasabi, itong yung after Gothic architecture, Art Nouveau, yung next na architectural style na hindi sumunod na sa principles of classic architecture. Next, 70, modern international architecture is more practical. So, kaya yung people stopped the Art Nouveau movement. Also, isa sa malapit din na possible na sagot din dyan ay because of war. Pero because of war din kasi, kaya mas naisip ng mga tao na maging more practical, and also kaya nabuo din yung modern international. Dahil nga nung nagkakaroon nung na-experience sila ang war, nagibahan lahat. So isip nila parang bakit kailangan pa natin gumastos pa, ganyan, mag-effort pa magpaganda ng bahay, or kasi before ginagamit nila yan as their statement of wealth. So bakit kailangan pa natin mag-exert pa ng effort kung nagigira lang din naman nasisira, sayang ang pera. So we should be more practical na lang, and yung parang huwag na i-consider mga ornaments na yan, mga decorations, yung mga na lang, functional parts na lang yung itira. Kasi mas ang factor sa kanila ay survival na instead of statement. Then, which Art Nouveau inspired structure by Anthony Gaudi remains to be unfinished? Sagrada Familia. Siyempre, pag dito nagkamali pa kayo, oh my gosh. Then, ito, lumabas last board exam lang din. Actually, ito, paulit-ulit din naman itong question na to. Na yung tungkol sa, maraming questions, baka mapapansin, maraming questions yun sa refresher na paulit-ulit about Sagrada Familia, sinong architect nito. So, naulit-ulit siya. Ganyan pa din halos yung question niya. So, ito. So, Sagrada Familia, yung construction period na niya ay 144 years, work in progress. Then it is one of the longest construction project in the world na dapat, ang target niya ay matapos by 2026. Kaso because of the pandemic nga daw, nausog na naman daw ng most probably 2 years pa bago ulit matapos, kaya never ending, diba? Ayan, diba? Lumabas nga din, so, palabas-labas nga siya talaga. Palabas-labas nga siya talaga. Lumabas din kasi siya last year, last board exam lang. So, yun yung mga idea na nasa question bank nga lang din kasi siya, nauulit, kaya more chances of winning din na review or parang ma-rundown nyo itong mga question sa refresher. Hindi naman necessary na kabisaduhin nyo. At so, sobrang dami na to. At least maging familiar lang din naman kayo. Or makakuha kayo ng idea. Pero yun lang din talaga. May mga questions dito na halos similar talaga dun sa board exam. Pero huwag nyo pilitin kabisaduhin lahat to. The next, so 73, what is the difference between the Art Nouveau in Germany and the Art Nouveau in Catalan, Spain? So, Art Nouveau is colorful and richly decorated, while Dragon Steel has more perpendicular and straight lines. So, Catalan Art Nouveau is also called as Modernisme, while Dragon Steel, ito yung German Art Nouveau. Next. Bilisan na natin ang slide dahil mag-1 hour na. Nasa 74 pa lang tayo. During the period of revivalism, why did some architects prefer the style of Art Nouveau over the other style that flourished during that time? So, Art Nouveau is unique and hard to reproduce or copy. So, number 74, letter C. Next, who is the architect of Farnsworth House? Kung naalala pa, syempre na-discuss ko ito ng mahabang-mahaba nung kumpre. Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Or syempre yung mga renders dyan, familiar sa Farnsworth House, dahil makikita nyo lang yan sa Lumio. So, ang architect niyan ay si Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Then, 76, what architectural style did the architect apply in designing the house? The answer is modern international. Or other term ng modern international ay international style. So, yan si Mies van der Rohe. Baka lang naman nakakalimutan nyo. At ito ay hindi ito Farnsworth House, kundi SR Crown. Wala lang ako picture na mahanap niya ng Farnsworth House. Next, 77. What was the reason why Otto veered from being a classicist to a modernist? He just wanted to do something with what the materials were available. So by insisting on function, materials, and structure, which is the core idea of modern architecture, function, material, and structure, he claimed that the world was changing and that it needed a new style of architecture to represent the intellectual and practical needs of modern people. Yun na din, yung practical na din talaga. Hindi na rin kasi talaga necessary yung mga status symbol or mga symbolizing wealth, yun kasi naging idea before ng mga tao. Then 78, in Germany, how was he influenced by the modern movement? So Austrian Postal Savings Bank. So this is the Austrian Postal Savings Bank and this is Otto Wagner. What was the greatest effect of industrialization movement? Syempre, mass production, creation of power machine, factories that provided many new jobs and many materials. Then, why does architect Otto wanted the skyline of Germany be designed with variety in building height or with a play of elevation of buildings? Ayan, city represents movement and should be dynamic. Next. I guess familiar naman sa building na to. This building is the Reims Cathedral. So, what architectural style was used for the facade? Gothic. Next. 82. Syempre, pag Reims Cathedral is the finest example ng Gothic church or Gothic architecture. Then, in a given illustration, what was used for the arches? Sequential. Next. Which architectural style is evident in the figure at the right? So, familiar ba dito sa structure na to? Kung hindi familiar sa structure na to, syempre titingnan nyo na naman yung mga elements nitong structure na to. So, ano ang dapat tanggalin na naman para mabawasan ng isipin? Syempre, una natin tatanggalin dito sa choices na to ay ang Byzantine architecture. Bakit? Walang dome. Dome roof, kilala ang Byzantine architecture. And most probably, dome roof, pag sabi natin dome roof, as in completely dome room yung roof niyan. Kasi yung ibang mga churches, merong yung ibang mga churches meron pa ring dome. Pero doon na lang sa altar part or sa apse part. Pero pag Byzantine, completely dome roof. So wala naman tayo nakikita dyan, kaya tanggalin na natin to. Then, pwede ka mag-wonder kung ano yung, mapapaisip ka kung ano yung susunod. Kasi isa sa mga mapapansin mo agad dito ay semicircular arches. Bilang sinasabi ko nga, pag semicircular arches, isa yan sa prominent character or prominent element ng Romanesque architecture. Pero wait, there's more. Pero bakit merong mga spires and pinnacles? Ang spires and pinnacles ay never ginamit sa Romanesque architecture. So yan na naman, mukhang matatanggal na naman tong si Romanesque architecture. Dahil mas sauna si Romanesque architecture bago kay Gothic, kaya hindi sila gumagamit ng spires and pinnacles. Itong spires and pinnacles, sila makasa idea nila dyan is to strengthen the wall. Dahil nga thin walls pa Gothic churches. Pero, ang problema dyan, ma'am, walang Gothic architecture. Kasi, bilang sinabi ko rin, paano yun? Si Reina sabi niyo, ma'am, ay tinanggal niya lahat ng idea ng Gothic church, ng Gothic architecture kasi nga pangit ang Gothic architecture. Pero imposible maging Renaissance to dahil may spires and pinnacles. Kahit sabihin naman natin combination nga siya. Hindi na si Renaissance kasi gumagamit ng spires and pinnacles. So paano yan? Kaya ang tamang sagot ay medieval. Kung hindi kayo familiar sa medieval style, ito ay pre-Romanesque, Romanesque, and Gothic. So, mixture na nga lang din siya. And to strengthen the idea, kasi baka sabihin wala lang talagang option, ito naman kasing Oviedo Cathedral ay ginawa during the Renaissance style. And since matagal ang construction that time, tapos umabot sa transition ng Renaissance to Gothic, kaya parang nung tinatayo na to, nakakita na, since pahuli na din yung sa facade, nakikita na nga nila na parang, nauso na yung Gothic, kaya na-apply na nila yung mga Gothic elements dito sa cathedral na to. Pero yung base niya, or yung parang basic structure niya, basic elements, may mga makikita kayong mga Romanesque elements, like this one, semicircular arches, yung nga lang, ito, yung mga sculptures sa niche, very Romanesque yan. Pero walang rose window that time. Lahat yan, kaya talagang combination siya. Okay. Kasi nga, yun, so sobrang tagal ng construction period. Next, which type of arch was used in the secondary entrance of the structure? Lancet. Dahil pointed. Next, identify what kind of column were used. Ionic order or Ionic column. Siyempre, magkakamali pa ba dito? Kitang-kita, merong volute. Very prominent yan sa Ionic. Pero anong order? Ang meron ng volute, pag sinabi nyo kasi nakakita kayo ng order or image dun sa exam na may volute. So, sinagot nyo agad, Ionic. Pero meron pang isang order na meron ding volute. Ano yung structure, ano yung order na yon? Dalawa silang may volute yun ay composite order. Ito ay combination ng Corinthian and Ionic, kaya composite yung tawag. So meaning to say, ito composite order, meron siyang volute at the same time, meron pang acanthus leaves. So, next, 86, what kind of vault was used in the hallway? Barrel vault. Ito, pag sabi natin vault, yan ay kapag yung theory behind yan, kapag yung kapag yung arch ay hinila mo sa y-axis, makakabuo ka ng vault. Parang yung idea sa SketchUp lang din, gumawa ka ng arch dyan din, kaya makakagawa ka ng vault. Pag semicircular arch, ang hinila mo sa y-axis, barrel vault yung kakalabasan. Kapag lancet arch or mga pointed arch, yung hinila mo sa y-axis, rib vault yung kakalabasan. Yung fan vault, mas playful ka lang siya, ibang peg, no? Ayan. So, next, what style was used in the facade of the entranceway? Syempre, Romanesque in semicircular arch. Next, Bernini is known for what style? Renaissance. Pero to be exact, to be specific, Baroque architecture talaga yan. Isa si Bernini sa mga pioneer ng Baroque style, and isa sa mga prominent na works niya ay itong Baldacchino sa St. Peter's Basilica. It was considered as a Baroque style dahil sa kanyang twisted column. Itong Baroque style kasi, mas dramatic yung idea, then mas compare sa, nandun pa rin yung idea ng classical architecture, classical style, pero mas dramatic. Mas dramatic siya. Next, so, the answer for 89 is SR Crown Hall. Then, ayan, matatagpuan sa Chicago, Illinois. Designed by Mies van der Rohe. Next, 90 ay National Congress of Brazil at Brasilia. Yung Baldacchino ni Bernini, Kasi ang baldacchino ay meron talaga sa mga churches, sa mga Catholic churches. Pero yung pinakakilalang baldacchino na merong twisted column ay matatagpuan sa St. Peter's Basilica na contribution ni Bernini. Next, 91 ay Falling Water. Ito yung sinasabi ng mga estudyante ko last time na nagbe-message sila sa akin habang nagpapa-pre-board ako that time. So sabi nila na lumabas, akala nila meron ng no-brainer question dun sa board exam. Kasi pag binabasa ko yung description, gets mo na agad na falling water yung tinutukoy. Pero yung dun sa huli ng description, ang question pala, saan matatagpuan ang falling water? And marami nga daw sa kanila, hindi nga alam kung saan pala matatagpuan ang falling water. So, matatagpuan to sa Pennsylvania. Yan, double-double lang, pero Pennsylvania. Next. Figure A, Cesar Crown Hall at Illinois Institute of Technology. Then figure B is Villas-Savoie at Poissy, Paris, France. Next, Auditorio de Tenerife was designed by Santiago Calatrava. Next, which among the figure above is LT Harmony? Figure D. 96, Copenhagen Opera House is figure C. Next, Walt Disney Concert Hall is, diniscuss ko yan, parang ako dyan. Ayan, figure B. Then, 98, Philharmonie de Paris is figure A. So, which among the following is the work of Frank Gehry? Siyempre, figure B, Walt Disney Concert Hall. And the work of Jean Nouvel is Philharmonie de Paris. Figure A. Next. Henning Larsen. The work of Henning Larsen is figure C, Copenhagen Opera House. And the work of Herzog and de Meuron is figure D, Elfi Harmony. Next. Which among the figures above is the work of Jean Nouvel? Louvre, Abu Dhabi. Next. Work of Ken Bokuma, Daiwa Ubiquitous Completing Research Building. Next. Studio Puxas is a work of Zhejiang International Airport is the work of Studio Fuxas. And the work of Frank Gehry is Guggenheim Bilbao. Next. Ito, baka lumabas to sa board exam ngayon dahil kasalukuyan na siyang ginigiba sa kasamaang palad ang Nakajin Capsule Tower, and it was designed by Kisho Kurokawa. Nga lang, hindi-highlight, pero Kisho Kurokawa for the Nakajin Capsule Tower. This is the best example of metabolism architecture. Next. Who won the commission for the Gates of Paradise? Lorenzo Ghiberti. Which architectural style was used for this cathedral? Renaissance. Then what was the initial style for this cathedral? Italian Gothic. So, Le Corbusier's architectural style is white box architecture. Itong white box ay parang naging layman's term yan ng mga works ni Le Corbusier, pero associated din siya sa idea ng purism. Diba? Kung maalala, pag sabi natin purism, architectural style, yung proponent nun ay si Le Corbusier, and yung idea nun ay very volumetric structure having refined edges and form. Yan, parang ito. Kaya makikita nyo, very regular yung mga forms ni Le Corbusier having refined edges. Next. Then ayun, kadalasan mukha daw kasing white box. Yun yung parang naging idea. Kaya naging parang parang noong una layman's term, pero parang associated din siya kasi sa purism architectural style. Next, si Madame Zaha for the first woman to win the prestigious Pritzker Architecture Prize. Actually, dapat dyan si Denise Scott Brown. Kung familiar, si Denise Brown ay asawa ni Robert Venturi. Yan ay nanalo sila, parang nakakuha sila, hindi sila nanalo, parang nakakuha sila ng award for promoting postmodernism. Kaya nga di ba lagi sinasabi si Robert Venturi and si Denise Brown ang nasasabi proponent ng postmodernism. Pero hindi lang kasi na-credit si Denise Brown dahil during that time, hindi pa nila well accepted or parang may pagka-gender bias yung siguro mga panel, since ang field ng architecture ay prominent sa mga kalalakihan. Kaya parang hindi pa nila talaga well accepted na parang well accepted ang mga babaeng architects. Kaya nga talagang si Zaha Hadid ay talagang na-consider na women of the first sa field ng architecture. Kasi first woman, si Pritzker, even yung Riba, and also iba pang mga awards. Kaya nga na-consider siya as name. Next. Ito. Ayun nga, speaking of, isa rin to sa idea ng gender bias. Si Le Corbusier naman itong ma-issue dito. So kung familiar kayo sa kwento nitong E027, a work of Eileen Gray, na ang napapagkamalang architect nito ay si Le Corbusier. Kung titingnan niyo pa lang, talagang very Le Corbusier ang itsura ng structure na to. So i-chika ko na lang din ang mabilis dahil I-check ko na lang nila mabili. So, itong E127, si Aileen Gray ay hindi naman talaga architect, pero mas industrial designer siya, furniture designer. She's a notable furniture designer. Then, yung asawa niya or yung partner niya ay architect and very fan ni Le Corbusier. Then, sa field ng that time naman hindi masyadong mahigpit na kahit furniture designer ka or yung talaga, di ba, kung mababasa niyo sa mga articles, marami talagang famous architects na hindi naman talaga formally educated as architect or hindi talaga licensed architect. Ganyan. So, ayun, same with Aileen Gray. Then, together with her partner, na dinesign nila tong E1027, then yung naitayo to, napapagkamalan nga talaga, napansin agad to, and napapagkamalan talaga, si Le Corbusier yung gumawa niyan, yung nag-design niyan. Then, since fan nga ng partner ni Aileen Gray, si Le Corbusier, in-invite si Le Corbusier dito, and nung in-invite siya dyan, kahit si Le Corbusier, yun, parang hindi siya makapaniwala na may babaeng nakapag-design ng ganito, and yung principles and yung idea niya sa modern architecture ay na-apply. Usually kasi ng mga fan or parang mga naging student ni Le Corbusier, na-apply yung idea niya, pero tinitweak, di ba, parang hinahaluan nila sarili nilang style. Pero this one, parang hindi tweak to, parang very Le Corbusier talaga. Kaya, ang ginawa ni Le Corbusier, kapag tuwing daw pumupunta dyan, nag-vandal or nag-drawing ng mural. Ito, isa to sa mga dinrawing ni Le Corbusier. And kinakapikunan pa nga dyan ni Le Corbusier. Ay, kinakapikunan ni Aileen Gray dyan. Minsan daw, naabutan niya si Le Corbusier, na parang walang paalam na mag-drawing or magpe-paint dyan sa wall na yan. Then, minsan makikita niya nakahubad, na parang ang pinapahiwatig daw ni Le Corbusier dun sa action niyang yun, na architecture ay territory ng mga kalalakihan. Hindi pwedeng, hindi pwedeng mamayagpag ka parang ganun since babae ka. Or, yung parang idea ng pagka-Indian. Kasi nakikredit talaga tong E1027. Kaya daw, nilalagyan ng mural ni Le Corbusier. So, diba? Insecure, kaya nakapikon. So, dahil dyan, sa ginawa ni Le Corbusier, nagkaaway si Aileen Gray at yung asawa niya. Ayan, nagkahiwalay sila. So, gustong bilhin ni Le Corbusier yung bahay, pero sa sobrang busit ni Aileen Gray sa kanya, hindi bininta sa kanya. So, bininta sa iba, tapos si Le Corbusier, nagtayo na lang ng bahay sa katabi dyan. Then, doon yung kadalasan daw makikita, sa beachfront kasi to. Tapos, swimming dyan si Le Corbusier, pinapatayan niya yung bahay niya. Akala ko pag mamayari niya. Diba? Then, ayun, after doon yung mural na to, laging pinuntahan ng malas tong bahay na to kasi nung naibenta, nasunog, kaya parang noong 1980s, nagkaroon ng restoration dito, nasunog. Tapos, the next year naman, nakita ang patay si Le Corbusier, papalutang-lutang dun sa beach na kung saan nga daw siya lagi nagsiswimming, nakikita nagsiswimming. So, parang dinikita ng malas tuloy. Next. So, who is the first licensed woman architect in US? Louise Blanchard Berthoud. Next. Part 2, mabilis lang to part 2. Break tayo by 8:30. Next. So, ito na-discuss ko na rin naman. Hindi ko na-expound. Coffin with a cross. Then, architect of Manila City Hall is Antonio Toledo. Then this structure, ito hindi ko alam sa inyo ma-discuss ng bonggang-bongga pagdating sa Philippine churches dahil kahit ako, hirap sa Philippine churches kaya hindi ako nagtuturo ng HOA 4. Ayan. Or baka sabihin niyo hindi ako nationalista, talagang nalilito lang ako sa Philippine churches. Ayan. So, 1773. Isa to sa mga pinagdadasal ko na hindi lumabas sa board exam, pero may lumabas pa din sa kasamang palad. This church is also called the Daraga Church. Next. The present cathedral was constructed under the supervision of which architect? Fernando H. Ocampo. For the Minor Basilica and Metropolitan Cathedral of Immaculate Conception. Next, some of their notable projects are Philippine Plaza, ABS-CBN, Complex Kingswood Garden, 1 and 2 Lafayette Square, Salcedo Park, and the Pacific Plaza Towers, Resio in Casas. Then, after 20 years, the partner left the firm. Who was this architect? Jose Pedro Resio. Next, what is the current name of the firm today? Casas Architects. Then, ito, lumabas tong question na to sa board exam. Nandiyan yun sa refresher book nyo. Hinalight ko lang ng blue. So, what was this architect's first project? This project was the first to have a thin shell concrete dome in the Philippines. It was a collaboration of several national artists, and it is now recognized as a national historical landmark and a cultural treasure by the National Historical Institute and the National Museum. So, the answer is Church of the Holy Sacrifice. So, this is his famous and controversial structure and now considered as a center of the arts. And this is his most recognizable work. I'm referring to Leandro Locsin pa rin, CCP, or the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Next, what was his largest single work? Istana Nurul, na matatagpuan sa Brunei. Then, this is the Baraswain Church. So, kung familiar kayo, and even pag sinearch nyo, ang Baraswain Church, pag sinearch yung Baraswain Church, ang lumalabas na style ng facade nito ay Baroque architecture. Pero, merong mga elements to na not so Baroque architecture. Kaya, yun yung mga tanong dito. Kaya, what style was used in the column as seen in the facade? Ito daw. The answer is Romanesque. The next, what style was used in the pediment of the church? So, the answer is Romanesque. Bakit? Semicircular arch. Next. What kind of pediment was used in the facade? So, Romanesque pa rin. And for this 115, striking feature to. So, the striking feature is the bell tower. Bakit? Bakit hindi dome or yung pediment? Kasi kung titingnan sa hierarchy, mas mukhang nabigyan ng emphasis ang bell tower because of its scale, its size. Then, hindi siya symmetrical. Kaya ayun, talagang makikita mong talagang mas nangingibabaw pa yung volume ng bell tower kaysa dito sa church itself na mas mukha pang lighter tingnan compare sa bell tower. So next, from the figure above, which is the Daraga Church sa Albay, D, that is figure D, then Paway Church in Ilocos, figure A. Next, San Agustin Church in Manila, figure C. Next, Basilica del Santo Niño de Cebu. Kung maalala, ito ay ni-restore ni Cristobal BC Espina, di ba? So this is figure B. Next, 20 is figure E. San Sebastian Church, considered as Neo-Gothic. Next. So, ito yung lumabas ng board exam namin dahil nag-iba to noong 2014 dahil sa sa earthquake. Kaya lumabas siya ng board exam namin. So, the answer is Panay Tapis. Next. 32. Traditional Filipino architecture technique that would withstand earthquakes in the Philippines. Putting stones that serves as rollers beneath the foundation. Then, 23 is Kapis Shell. Next. Halipan. And the indigenous people living in Tiancanay are living in Binanggian are the Kankanan. So. Next, 26. How to maintain balance, single row. Then what is used to balance the boat? Fatigue. And lastly, what is the effect on the people living in the boat? It affected their posture. So, ayun. Siyempre kung ikaw ba naman parang naka-fetus position ka din dyan pag natulog dyan sa loob ng mga boat houses. So, break muna tayo ng 20 minutes. Break muna tayo ng 20 minutes. So, bali babalik tayo ng mga 8:40. Ay, ano na pala? Ano ba talaga? Anong oras na ba talaga sa 8:30 na pala dito sa akin. 8:50 dito ay 8:25. So, 8:50. Balik tayo 8:50 guys. Then, for part 3 multiple topics naman tayo. Ayan. So, pwede ba tayo mag-start sa ating part 3, multiple topics. So, mas marami-rami na to at mas brain overload na to. Siguro naman gising na kayo dahil nakapagkape na talaga at going 9 o'clock na. Kaya, so inulit ko, hindi ko na masyado babasahin yung mga questions, more of answers na lang din tayo. Then, konting mga ano lang, explanations na bakit yun yung sagot. Dahil marami pa tayong topics dito sa multiple topics, around 385 topics pa ang i-discuss natin. Then, meron na tayong darating na meron pa tayong i-discuss na additional topics na wala nga lang sa refresher books nyo, pero around 30 topics lang din naman yun, 20 to 30 topics. Kaya, busy natin. So, in total, around 400 topics pa itong i-discuss natin. So, let's proceed. Since 8:50 na din, may question. Regarding the members of the board, meron, experience ko yan. Yung questions about sa board exam, about sa mga members ng board exam. Yung board exam kasi namin, lumabas si isa sa mga member doon ay si Architect Yolanda Reyes. Kaya yung question ay tungkol din sa kanya. And that time, nung 2014, ang dami niyang na-receive na recognitions, na award, very Zahadi din daw ang peg niya. Kaya ayun, may 4 questions na lumabas sa kanya. Then, meron akong isang nakitang question, last question lang. Kasama naman sa choices yung mga board members. Sa choices lang naman, parang pampa-laugh trip lang. Ayan. So, may mga chances na ma-include talaga din sila. Then, inulit ko nyo rin kung ano yung field of expertise nila. Kasi maraming lumalabas na question na kung ano yung field of expertise nila. Parang maraming questions na tungkol doon. Like, kunyari, yung isa ay natin, HOA Prof pala. So, marami talagang HOA Prof. Kasi ang idea niyan, in case na magkaroon ng complaints or concerns ng mga students, syempre, kung field of specialty nila yon or expertise nila talaga yung topic na yon, kaya nilang sagutin, kaya nilang i-prove yung questions, yung answer nila, bakit ganun. Kaya, maganda kung i-check nyo din yun. So, any more question? Let's proceed. Papalitan nga lang yung kung may question man, natatabunan nga lang, hindi ko na nahabol yung iba. So, kung may further question kayo, kung may time pa tayo later, pwede naman natin pag-usapan or pag-usapan natin after nitong TPP natin. Kung meron pa extra time pa. So, yan. Number 1, which does not belong to the group? So, the answer is Rayonant. Bakit? Rayonant is Gothic. Then, Art Nouveau ay modern. And we know Art Nouveau naman, then Le Modern. Either ito ay modern or streamline modern. Wala kasing modern eh. Pero ano yan, kasi itong choices na to ay nasa parang kung ano lang yung mga naalala nung nag-contribute. Pero regardless, kapag modern man, maliban yung spelling na pagkakabigay niya or something, pero ganito yung thought. So most probably, modern yung, it's referring to any modern style. Then, Julian Steele is a German Art Nouveau. So itong Rayonant ay High Gothic kasi. Kaya sobrang hindi siya belong sa group. Most probably kasi group of Art Nouveau ang tinutukoy. Next, how do Romanesque and Gothic architecture differ in terms of structural elements? So the answer is Gothic has flying buttress to support its weight while Romanesque has pillar. Next, 3. How about in terms of openings? So when it comes to openings, Gothic has bigger openings compared to Romanesque. Then 4. How do Romanesque and Gothic architecture differ of architectural elements naman? So Gothic is richly ornate while Romanesque has stone facade. So, kung ipagko-compare, parehas ko na Notre Dame, yung isa ay sa Paris, France, while yung isa ay sa Poitiers, France, pero ang isa dyan ay Gothic at ang isa dyan ay Romanesque. So, most probably, kung titingnan naman talaga, kitang-kita yung difference with Gothic and Romanesque, talagang thicker walls pag Romanesque, smaller openings, then mas maliit ang Romanesque, mas maliit yung Romanesque. Then when it comes to ornaments naman, ang Romanesque, they are using sculptures sa niches, ayan. Then, yung iba nilang style of ornaments ay yung paglagay ng mga blind arcade, yung series of arches na hindi totally opening or hindi butas. While yung sa Gothic naman, pala yan, yung sa Gothic naman ay well-lighted. Then, marami talagang bigger openings kasi ang talagang main purpose nila ay maging well-lighted yung church and also play of lights. Diyan unang pumasok yung idea ng play of lights. Kaya, ang inakay nila, instead of thicker walls, thinner walls, then since thinner walls tapos matataas yan, syempre ang concern natin dyan ay yung slenderness, kaya it is supported with buttresses. Then, it is notable for its verticality. Mapapansin ang mga spires and pinnacles. Also, it is richly ornate because of it also has gargoyles instead of mga sculptures ng mga saints. Next. When it comes to French versus Spanish, syempre familiar na tayo sa French Gothic. Yan yung basic idea ng Gothic architecture. Then, pag sa Spanish Gothic naman, difference niyan, mostly Spanish Gothic churches ay built on old mosque talaga. Kaya nagmumukhang centralized din ang mga plans ng mga Spanish Gothic churches. Then, mas mukha din naman silang, halos closely kamukha sila ng mga French Gothic churches. Like the Burgos and the Leon Cathedral. Look like Notre Dame. Then, number 6, you were asked to design a textile factory. What would be your prime consideration when choosing the location of the loading dock? So the answer is adjacent properties and ease of access. Then number 7, if you have a project site that has a sloping to steep terrain, what expensive method of site preparation is sometimes inevitable when building in a steep slope terrain? So what expensive method of site preparation is sometimes inevitable? So meaning to say, meron tayong ideal na solution for steep to slope terrain, diba? And that is piling, using piles or standing on stilts, ganyan. So tatanggalin na natin to. This is the ideal solution. Pero kasi, ang sinasabi nga natin, expensive method of site preparation. Kasi yung ideal solution, less yung magiging development natin dyan, less yung land development. Pero dito kasi, hindi maiiwasan talaga. May mga instances na hindi maiiwasan gawin, kaya may pagka-pricey. So the answer is, cut and fill. Siyempre, pag grading kasi, usually ginagawa to sa mga developed na land, usually mga relatively flat, kaya more on cleaning na lang. Then, using explosive, sobrang hindi natin ginagawa to, kahit sabihin natin expensive method pa to. Then, mat foundation ay hindi naman to ginagawa sa mga steep to slope. Either na lang, talaga magkakadikit ang footing mo, and may paano ka elevator kung sakali, or mga shear walls ang ginagamit mo dyan. Next, what is the maximum angle of lawn mower? That is 30 degrees. Then, what is the cheapest way to avoid glare on the windows? The answer is provide tinted glass windows. Ayun. Wala ba? Nakadikit na halos sa akin yung mic. Next. What would be the effect if there would be two oppositely located windows on the upper portion of the room? Fast movement of air. Ay, fast movement. Hindi. Wait, bakit ganito? Slow air movement of air. Labi na ko na to Okay. Slow movement of air inside. Gamali ata ako na na-cancel na na animation. Pero the answer for number 10 is slow air movement. Slow movement of air inside. Yeah, number 10 is letter D, hindi letter B ha. Gulat din ako ito yung na-highlight. So the answer is letter D for number 10. Next, what would be the most expensive part to construct? Circular structure. Ito ay referring dito sa drawing na to. Bakit expensive ang mga circular structure? Dahil segmented. Then, segmented siya kinoconstruct. What more pa kapag glass pa yan? Then, what kind of space interrelation is shown? Kitang-kita radial. Bakit? Most probably, dito ang entry point mo. Then, pwede din, lobby to. Then, palabas. Kapag radial kasi, palabas yung distribution niya. Palabas yung approach away from the center. While kapag centralized naman, mas compacted ang plan. So, going to the center kasi naman ang approach niya. Next. Which structure shows a space after the hallway? So, meaning to say open. Kaya ito, diamond structure. Next, paraline drawings or three-dimensional drawings or parallel lines remain parallel. So, what do you call this? Having 30 by 60 angle, oblique. Next. So, who was this emperor? Emperor Titus. Then, number 16, who was the architect of Alexandria? The answer is Parmeniscus. Ito, maraming nagka-clarify dito. Bakit si Parmeniscus? Kasi familiar yung iba na si Ptolemy III. So, yung kwento kasi talaga nito, si Ptolemy I yung nag-order kay Parmeniscus to design ito, the Serapeum of Alexandria. Pero nakamatayan nga lang to ni Ptolemy I. So, hindi na siya na-materialize, hindi pa siya napapagawa. Itinuloy lang ni Ptolemy III. Pinagawa na lang siya ni Ptolemy III gamit yung plan ni Parmeniscus. Kaya, si Parmeniscus pa rin, architect ng Serapeum of Alexandria. Next. Who was the architect of the lighthouse of Alexandria or Pharos of Alexandria? Sostratus of Sindus. Next, oldest 7 wonders of the world, pyramids of Giza. Next, what characterized Palladian style of architecture? Proportionality. Then who was the architect of the Dome of the Rock? Raha ibn Haywa and Yazid ibn Salam. So, okay na ba dito? Next, who is the architect of UAP, National Headquarters Building? Yung isa UN Headquarters Ito, UAP, National Headquarters. Siyempre, Teofilo ay Vasquez or Tofi Vasquez. Then, ito yung lumabas nung board exam namin. She was the first lady architect to be elected as a chairperson of Architects Regional Council or ArcAsia. She was also the first woman national president of UAP, and recently she was awarded the Gucci Peace Prize International in Architecture and Academe. So the answer is, syempre, Yolanda Reyes, kasi siya yung current na member din sa board examiner that time. So next. Gawad din tong likha, United Architects of the Philippines Likha Award, and also the Philippine Institute of Architects Gold Medal of Merit Award or Gold Medal of Merit Award. So who was the first recipient, or who is the architect? Hindi siya necessary as the first recipient, pero sino yung architect na naka-receive na itong mga awards na to? Mas yun yung question kung sakali. So the answer is Leandro Locsin. Then who was the 11th UAP Likha awardee? Froilan Hong. Kung maalala nyo, si Froilan Hong ay ang architect ng Manila Film Theater. Next, which of the following is a work of Jose Maria Zaragoza? Siyempre, Meralco Building. Next, the work of Felipe Mendoza. Ito lumabas to last board exam. Yung regional lang ang naging exam, or hindi pala regional, provincial rather. So, the answer is Batasang Pambansa. Kaya proud ako dyan kasi na-discuss ko yan sa Gawad Gintong Likha. Diba? Yung mga na-discuss ko Pinoy architect ng sa Gawad Gintong Likha. Sila yung mga naglabasan that time. Kaya ako nakinig kayo, marami questions tungkol sa kanila. Next, which of the following is not the work of Leandro Locsin? Coconut Palace. Siyempre, ang Coconut Palace ay kay Francisco Manyosa. While, which of the following is not a work of Francisco Manyosa? Church of the Holy Sacrifice. Kasi kung matatandaan, ang nag-design niyan ay si Leandro Locsin. Next. Which of the following is not a work of Juan M. Arellano? Quiapo Church renovation. Bakit? Ang Quiapo Church renovation ay kay Juan Nakpil. Ito ay Juan Arellano. Next, what is the architectural character of Metropolitan Theater? Art Deco. Next. Ayan. Kung maalala, ito ay work ni Juan Arellano pa din. Itong Metropolitan Theater. Next. The old legislative building, also known as the Old Congress Building, was home to various legislative bodies from 1926 to 1972 and briefly from 1987 to 1997 of the Philippine government. So, however, in the 1926, the Philippine legislature decided to move into the building. Who was the architect? Who changed the building layout in order to make this possible? So the answer is Juan Arellano, while the architect of the old legislative building, also known as the Old Congress Building, was originally designed by Antonio Toledo and Ralph Harrington Dunay. Next. Who was the architect responsible for the addition of the dome and the second belfry of the Quiapo Church? So the answer is Juan Nakpil. Pero nagkakalituhan ng lahat kasi si Jose Maria Saragosa ay also involved sa renovation ng Quiapo Church. Pero ang contribution ni Jose Maria Saragosa ay the later enlargement of the church, and he changed the design of the lateral walls in 1984. And also he retained the facade, so the dome. Siyempre yun yung mga parang untouchable na ang dome ni Juan Nakpil dyan sa Quiapo Church. Kaya sinasabi isa yan sa mga dapat na church na pinupuntahan ng mga archi pag magbo-board exam, dahil yung kauna-unahang national artist ang nagpaganda niyan. Kung tutusin ang term nga daw ay nagpaganda ng Quiapo Church. Next. So, kung maalala, ang kauna-unahang national artist natin ay si Juan Nakpil. So, when it comes to national artist the architect who received the National Artist Award noong June 20, 2014 ay sino dito? Jose Maria Saragosa. Ito ang sinasabi ko sa inyo. Siyempre, yung iba familiarization, di ba? Yung iba familiarization lang, okay lang kahit familiarization lang. At least narinig nyo yung pangalan na yon, or parang ano lang, kahit napadabilis lang sa tingnan nyo, ganyan. Okay lang yan. Para kahit pa tingin sa bell. Pero, pagdating sa national artist, pag-effortan nyo na, kabisaduhin nyo na. Dahil, konti lang naman sila. Lumalabas sila, ilang beses na rin naman sila lumalabas sa board exam. Kahit huwag nyo na masyadong pag-effortan ang mga Pritzker, be familiar lang din naman sa kanila and their works. Pero sa national arts, kabisaduhin nyo na, even the year, effortan nyo na, 6 lang naman sila. Tapos ano yung mga works nila, or saan sila, talagang notable. Mga ganyan. Dahil lumalabas nga yan talaga sa board exam. Namaya pa example niyan. Next. 35. Who is the architect of the Philippine Arena? The world's largest multipurpose indoor arena? Populous. Next. Architect of New Philippine Stock Exchange Tower located in BGC. Handel Architects. Next. It is considered as the Intramuros of the North. Viga. Who is the architect of Seattle's Museum? Robert Venturi. Next. Who was the architect of the Chrysler Building? Nalala bang Chrysler Building? Kalaban Empire State Building yan sa tallest man-made structure that time, or sa tallest man-made structure in New York that time. So the answer is William Van Allen. Next, the Chrysler Building is located in Manhattan. Is a classic example of which architectural style. Ito si Chrysler, tutusin lumabas nga rin sa board exam last time. Hindi ko lang na-highlight. Pero Art Deco. Mamaya yan sa additional topics natin, mapapasadahan ulit yan. Next. 41. Architect of Petronas Tower. The answer is, pag dito nagkamali pa, my gosh, Cesar Pelli. 42. What do you call this building? It uses a bundle tube design invented by Fazlur Rahman Khan. It has a total height of 829.8 meters and is considered as the tallest man-made structure ever built. Pag dito nagkamali pa, my gosh, Burj Khalifa. Nagkamali daw. Joke lang. Baka makabahan kayo dyan, kunting mali lang. Pag mga obvious pag nagkamali talaga kayo dyan, maririnig yung my gosh ko talaga, subukan nyo lang. Next. According to the Council on Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat, who is the architect of Burj Khalifa? SOM. Ito, pag sobrang wala kayong idea, sobrang walang idea kung anong building na to, tapos then hindi kayo familiar sa mga architects na yan, masasabi ko lang na maraming na-design na high-rise. When it comes to high-rise, maraming din-design si Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill. Pero, syempre, masasabi na talaga kung familiar pa rin talaga kayo, para sure ball. Ayan. Pero si SOM ay very notable for high-rise or mga skyscrapers talaga. Ever since 1960s, 1970s, may pag na yan si SOM. Next. Ayun, next. Who is the architect of 632-meter Shanghai Tower? Jun Xia, under the Gensler, meaning to say is the project architect. And the architectural firm is, si Jun Xia, principal architect. And the architectural firm is Gensler. Next. He is the architect of Ascensia. IMP, akala mo si IMP, merong contribution dito sa Pilipinas. Kung hindi kayo familiar sa kung sinong architect ng Essentia, I guess magiging familiar kayo dito. American architect of Chinese descent. And he is often called as a master of modern architecture. Yan, isa lang naman yung American Chinese, and that is IMP. Nakilala. Next, an architect who also became president of the United States of America. The answer is Thomas Jefferson. Anong work yung ginawa niya? Kilalang work ng Monticello. Next. Who was the architect of Bank of China, Louvre Pyramid, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? IMP pa din. Next. 48. What is dominant in the works of IMP? use of triangles. Then what shape is prominent in the Bank of China and Louvre Pyramid? Syempre, consistent si IMP, triangles. Bakit? Dahil we consider this, and even parang talagang proven na this is the most stable shape. And si IMP gusto niyang ipakita yung idea ng stability sa kanyang mga designs, and also mas na-utilize niya yung mga interior spaces with the use of triangles. Parang nawawala yung mga waste spaces. Parang mas na ipagmamatch niya yung exterior, yung mga intent niya sa exterior, then nag-go along yung interior with his design intent through the use of triangles. And bakit niya yung page, parang nagpa-picture lang sa field there. Next. 15. Original name of JP Morgan Chase Tower, Texas Commerce Tower. Then the architect of Empire State Building is William Lamb. Uulitin ko ha. William Van Allen Chrysler Building and William Lamb for the Empire State Building. Yan kasi dalawa, magkalaban yan. Magkalaban yan sa pagiging tallest building in US. Kaya nakalito na parehas pang William pang pangalan ng architect na yun. So, William Lamb for Empire State and William Van Allen for the Chrysler Building. At, by the way, parehas pa Art Deco style. Next, who designed the original World Trade Center in New York? Minoru Yamasaki. Then, who is the architect of one World Trade Center that was erected at the same site where 9/11 attack occurred? David's Child. Ito lumabas to, nalala ko to, lumabas noong 2019 board exam. So, nung nagiba yung, di ba, Empire State, yung tallest skyscraper in US for around 40 years. Then, natalo siya ni World Trade Center. Then, nagiba si World Trade Center dahil binomba, nagkaroon nga ng terrorist attack. So, ang nangyari, bumalik ang corona kay Empire State Building. Pero, naaga ulit ang corona kay Empire State Building dahil ang number 1 pa din, so far, na tallest building sa New York, itong One World Trade Center na dinesign ni David Child. Then, for the master plan, kasi baka malito yung iba familiar, kay Daniel Lipsky. Si Daniel Lipsky, ang contribution niya dyan ay yung master plan ng One World Trade Center. Pero the One World Trade Center itself ay kay David Child. Next. Architect of this structure is located at Moscow, Russia, has a height of 255 meters and is noted for its futuristic DNA-like shape. It was designed by architect Tony Kettel. So, ito lumabas din to nung 2019 board exam. So, the answer is Evolution Tower. Ito kasi yung first skyscraper sa Russia. Next, who was the architect of Carpenter Center? Le Corbusier. What is the function of Brisole? For sun shading, reduces heat gain within that building by deflecting sunlight. Next, who was the architect of Jibao Cultural Center? Renzo Piano. And the architect of Kuala Lumpur Airport? Kisho Kurokawa. Next. National contest was held in 1951 for Quezon Memorial Project. Who won the competition? Ito, pagkakaalala ko na, discuss ko rin to. At sa pagkakaalala ko, maraming nakasagot dito. Federico Ilustre. Next, who was the architect of New Toronto City Hall? Viljo Revelle. Diba, kaya kailangan updated. Kahit ano naman, kahit hindi yung sobrang alam nyo lahat ng mga tumatayong building At least maging updated lang sa mga kilalang building. Siyempre yung mga dinesign ng mga kilalang architect na nagtatayuan niya or parang binubuksan niya yung year na to. Ganun. Next. Ito, pag nagkamali pa talaga, oh my gosh, talaga kayo ha. Ewan ko na lang talaga. Isa to sa mga dapat hindi na nagkakamalin. Once again, no-brainer question. Architect of Guggenheim Museum Bilbao at Bilbao ha. Frank Gehry. Subukan nyo lang mapuntayan kay Frank Lloyd Wright. Hindi, pwedeng malito kay Frank Lloyd Wright at kay Frank Gehry. Bakit? Ang Guggenheim Museum at New York ay kay Frank Lloyd Wright. Pero ang Bilbao, kaya titingnan nyo yung location. Yung iba kasi, na ichichika sa akin, na nalilito daw agad pag nakita lang yung pangalan itself. May mga magkakatulad na pangalan. Kaya sagot agad. Kala nila, giveaway na. Ganun. Pero, hindi, syempre, babasahin nyo pa rin yung napakahabang description. Pwede iba pala ang tinutukoy. So, ayun. Pero pag ito, Guggenheim at Bilbao, syempre, Frank Gehry na yan. Pag New York, Frank Lloyd Wright. Pag sa Abu Dhabi, Frank Gehry pa din. Next, what materials were used in the facade of Guggenheim Bilbao? Ito, naichika ko na to. Naichika ko na rin sa inyo to. Sana naalala niyo yung kwento ko dyan. Siyempre, titanium. Ang stainless steel ay sa Walt Disney Concert Hall. Ewan ko na lang kung hindi kayo masampal ni Frank Gehry kapag ang sinagot nyo ay aluminum composite panels. At hindi siya nagaganyan. So next. Who was the architect of Central Park at Vienna? Gunther Dominique. Architect of Bank of New York, Renzo Piano. Architect of Sony Center, Helmut John. Then architect of Notre Dame, Durenchi, August Pereira. So, bigyan ko kayo ng 1 minute para isulat. Next. Ito pala matagal ang 1 minute. Next. Mabas last board exam lang. Who was the architect of TWA Airport and Dulles Airport? Iro Sarinen. Next. Who was Vitruvius? Author of the Architectura. And what is the laws of the Indies? Ordered by King Philip as standard design guidelines for town planning. In short, the Plaza Complex. Ito ay instruction niya sa lahat ng mga Spanish colonized countries, including Philippines, na magkaroon ng isang town planning, which is called the Plaza Complex. Kung saan nasa gitna ang church, na nasa gitna, nasa sentro yung church, then nasa tabi lang yung mga important structures like bahay ng mga praile, bahay ng mga governor, then bahay ng mga ano ba to? Mayaman, and yung schools, nandun din beside the plaza. Next. Ito, pag nagkamali pa talaga, magkikinig mo talaga matindihan kung, oh my gosh talaga. Sinong nagsabi ng less is more? Siyempre, Mais Van der Rohe yan. Subukan nyo lang ibagsak yan or ituro yung lapis nyo sa pangalan ni Le Corbusier talaga. May oh my gosh talaga kayo maririnig sa akin. Automatic na yan. Hindi na yan, parang kahit hindi nyo nakabisaduhin. Talagang Mais Van der Rohe, less is more. Automatic yan. Then, Daniel Burnham, was Daniel Burnham, one of America's most important architect and urban planner, proponent of City Beautiful movement, developed the master plan of Manila and Baguio, then developed the master plan of Chicago and Washington DC. Also, when it comes to being an architect, he designed the Flatiron Building. Kung familiar kayo yung building na manipis na nasa corner through lot, that is the Flatiron Building in New York City. Next. Ito, when it comes to dictum, ito talaga yung isasuggest ko na at least be familiar lang din naman. Even sa pagkabisado sa mga architects, sa sobrang daming building kasi niyan, na pwedeng lumabas, ang hirap na makabisaduhin lahat ng mga buildings nila, lahat ng mga works nila, di ba? Like Frank Lloyd Wright, around 600 ang naging works. Kabisaduhin mo lahat, di ba? Ewan ko na lang talaga kung kailangan pa talaga ng brain cells nyo yan. Pero at least be familiar lang. So, kung hindi nyo man alam ang exact na sagot, method of elimination na talaga in thorough analysis. Like for dictums, ang dami kasi mga dictums na pwedeng lumabas, na lalo na yung iba mga bagong dictums. So, ito, famous dictum of this architect: I believe that people make natural association with forms, colors, and composition of elements, while decoration and detailing help communicate with a building's purpose. So, anong architectural style ang tinutukoy na tong dictum na to? Architectural style that is associated with forms, colors, and composition, while decoration and detailing help communicate. Anong architectural style yan? Siyempre, kapag may forms and colors and even composition and also decoration, imposibleng maging international style yan. Dahil sa international style, devoiding of all ornaments yan. Then, practicality, form itself lang talaga yan. So, walang ornaments, walang composition of elements. And even, walang decoration and detailing. Ito yung mas highlight niyan. Kung international style, walang decoration and detailing. Kaya, tatanggalin na natin, pero dito kasi sa dictum na to, sinasabi nga na, decoration and detailing help communicate with building's purpose. So, kaya tatanggalin natin dahil imposibleng international style. Ang tinutukoy na architectural style dito, natatanggal dyan ay si Walter Gropius at si Buckminster Fuller. Siyempre si Walter Gropius, isa siya sa mga pioneer ng international style architect, Bauhaus architect, ganun yung idea na no ornaments, following the function itself lang din yung idea na forms follows function, modernism. Yeah, so, tanggal na yan. Then, Buckminster Fuller, he's a futuristic architect. Then, he is more of an inventor. Kaya, syempre pag futuristic may pagka-inventor ka, hindi mo na kailangan ng decorations and detailing. So, ibig sabihin, ang tinutukoy na architectural style dito ay postmodernism. Dahil yon yung idea ng postmodernism, nabalik niya yung aesthetic, yung ornaments na tinanggal ng ornaments and details and even colors na tinanggal ng international style. Kaya sino dito, yung natitirang dalawa ay mga kilalang postmodernist architects. Ito si Philip Johnson, bias siya, minsan postmodernist, minsan modernist. So, pinaka-postmodernist talaga dyan ay si Michael Graves. So, kung makikita dun sa Portland building niya, very postmodernism. And even yung works niya, laging colorful. Meron siya sa Stangenberg Hotel sa Egypt. Very colorful. And even meron din siyang design dito sa Binondo, na yung blue na building na nakalimutan ko na naman yung pangalan. Ayun. Kaya be familiar with the architect na lang din kung hindi kayo familiar sa dictum nila. Also, related naman din kasi ang dictums nila sa kung paano sila mag-design. And that is the idea naman talaga of design philosophy. Next. So the answer is Walter Gropius kasi he is promoting arts and crafts. And also kaya nga yung Bauhaus ay sinasabing, ano nga ba to? Yung nakalimutan ko yung term. So parang revolutionary. Revolutionary school. Dahil in-educate niya yung parang new style or new breed of learning. The next. 74, less is more pa rin. Mais Van der Rohe. Next. Ironic term. The ironic term maximum simplicity is attributed to Marcel Breuer. Next. 76, forms follows function is widely attributed to this famous architect but not his original aphorism. Meaning to say na kinakalituhan lang ng mga tao na siya yung nagsabi ng forms follows function, pero hindi siya yung nagsabi ng forms follows function. Dahil nagsabi talaga niyan ay si Louis Sullivan, and ayun, na ididikit lang sa pangalan ni Frank Lloyd Wright. Dahil itong si Frank Lloyd Wright ay meron din aphorism na form and follows and function as one. Hindi the form follows function. Mamaya i-discuss pa natin yan further. Next. Who is the architect of San Miguel Building in Ortigas? The Manyosa brothers. Next. Who is the first architect of the Philippines or the first Filipino architect? So, dito, ang tanong kasi ay first Filipino architect. So, kung wala si Felix Arroyo dito, si Felix Rojas yung sagot dahil he was considered as the first Filipino architect. Pero, dahil wala siya, so most probably, ang tinutukoy ay yung first registered Filipino architect. Kaya, si Tomas Mapua. Next, which style is associated with Gaudi? Art Nouveau. So, ito mo ang tinutukoy. Kasi why? Why yung ano niya, di ba? Yung part explanation dyan sa refresher book nyo na hindi naman about Anthony Gaudi. Kung ayun, si Anthony Gaudi. So, ano siya, ayun, kaya para po sa kanya, modernisme siya. Next. 80, the following are works of Jose Shaulig, except for SM Megamall. Next, work of Frank Lloyd Wright that was not realized, the Illinois Sky City or the Mile High Tower, Illinois. Then 82, Falling Water, Frank Lloyd Wright's organic architecture, finest example is the Falling Water. Then 83, architect of Guggenheim Museum at Manhattan, New York, or located in Manhattan, New York, Frank Lloyd Wright. Next, 84, distinctive feature of Frank Lloyd Wright's Folly Water, overhanging slab. Then 85, 84, overhanging slab. 85, terrace. 86, for wide openings. Bilisan lang natin ng konti dahil 86 pa lang tayo. Next. Hanggang ano lang tayo? 11. So kung mag-extend tayo, makapag-extend tayo ng 30 minutes kung hindi pa natin bibilisan ng konti. Next, the answer for 87, introduce a modern concept of proportion. Le Corbusier. Then, who pioneered Breton Brut? Auguste Perret. Then, during the 1920s, Le Corbusier was known for promoting this architectural style, white box architecture. Full name of Le Corbusier, Charles Edouard Jean Gris. Then, the structure at the right is called, pag dito nagkamali pa talaga, oh my gosh, kayo ng matindi ha. Villa Savoie. Kahit paikot-ikutin pa yan, I guess familiar na kayo kay Villa Savoie. Next, 92. Famous structure designed by Le Corbusier in Ronchamp, Notre Dame de Haut or Ronchamp Chapel. Next, 93. He formulated 5 points of architecture, Le Corbusier. Next, 94. From the figures, which is Bonaventure House? Diba? Sana yung mga kahit nakapikit pa, di ba? Kabisado talaga ang ano. Villa Savoie. Next, 95. Notre Dame de Haut is figure B. Once again, located in Ronchamp, France. 96, Roby House is figure A. 97, located in Chicago, Illinois. 97, Negosyo Workers Club is figure D. Then work of Le Corbusier, no other than figure B. Work of Konstantin Melkinov is figure D. Work of Frank Lloyd Wright is figure A. Work of Robert Venturi is figure C. Next, architect of Czech-Klepkov Airport is Sir Norman Foster. Then, architect of the Hyperbolic Roof, having an ultimate free plan and considered as the house of the decade. So, who designed this house? Remarkable house. Eduardo Catalano. Next, who designed the interlocking twin shell shark-like concept that has seen in the shore of Sydney, Australia? Siyempre, Sydney Opera House yan. George Watson. Next, number 105. So this is an award-winning mixed-use building located in Sydney, Australia, which received 5-star Green Star multi-residential design certified rating by Green Building Council of Australia. So who is the architect of this building? Ateliers John Novell and John Novell. Then as the consulting architect, Foster and Partners for the Sustainability and PTW Architects for as the architect of record. Next, architect of Beijing National Stadium. Herzog. And meron kong naalala, na-discuss ko din to, guess the concept. Then, the structure, also known as Bird's Nest. Next, architect of Liza Soho Tower, the Lizzie Tower, which is considered as the world's largest atrium. Ito siya, Zaha Hadid. Next, 109, father of Freeze Concrete, Eugene Freisner. Next, New York 5, they're the group of architects based on New York City. Next, 111. So, who among the following is a postmodern architect? Siyempre, tatanggalin na natin agad dyan si Kenzo Tanya dahil si Kenzo Tanya ay kilalang metabolism architect, isa sa mga pioneer ng metabolism architecture. Siyempre, tanggal na din agad dyan si Le Corbusier at pwedeng una yung tanggalin talaga dito ay si Maurice van der Rohe. Kasi siya nga yung kalaban, yung parang talagang tinuturing na kalaban ni Robert Venturi. Kaya nga, sinasabi nga natin, kung ang less is more ay kay Maurice van der Rohe, ang less is a more naman ay kay Robert Venturi. Lumabas lang yung dictum na less is a more ni Robert Venturi has board exam. Next, 112, who designed the Sagrada Familia once again. Ewan ko na lang talaga pag nagkamali pa kayo dyan. Anthony Gaudi or Antonio Gaudi. Ano sa Anthony Gaudi yan? Next, 13, most sculpture building of Anthony Gaudi. Casa Batlló. Ito yung, di ba, nagtatanong ng mga subjective. Ay, parang subjective daw yung doon sa most striking feature. Ito, kahit din si Sir Pedro, sabi niya may pagka-subjective din daw itong question na to dahil parang pag most sculptured building by Anthony Gaudi, parang depende pa rin siya talaga sa assessment ng tao. Pero baka kasi kulang yung question, mahaba pa talaga yung definition dyan. Pero kung ganito lang yung question, most probably, since may pagka-subjective yung question, based kay Sir Pedro, manalig tayo kay Sir Pedro at si Sir Pedro yan, kasabatlo ang sagot. Di ba? Kaya, kasi kung titingnan naman, the kasabatlo has decorated facade with colorful mosaic of broken ceramic tiles, and also it has its roof has arch and linked to the back of to the back of the dragon or dinosaur. Next, for 116 to 117, it is popularly known as La Pedrera. So the answer is Casa Mila. Next, the first garden city is called Letchworth Garden City. 144 to 145 is Casa Batlo. 116 to 117 is Casa Mila. Paulit-ulit na kasing question. Next. Who is Felix Candela? So, Felix Candela, basta pag Felix Candela, tin shell construction using reinforced concrete. Next, yung 114, Casa Batlo parehas yun. Same questions lang kasi sila. Also, 116 to 117. So, Felix Candela is also the designer of Los Manantiles Restaurant. Next. Although not the original inventor, Buckminster Fuller is known for a hemispherical tin shell structure based on a network of grid circles. So this structure is called geodesic dome. Then the Dymaxion House, who is the architect of the Dymaxion House? Buckminster Fuller. Next, ito. It is a structure in the middle of Paris designed by a Japanese architect and is made of reflective glass. So the answer is Center Pompidou. Pero sino tong Japanese architect na to? Shigeru Ban. Ayan, lumabas din ang last board exam. Then, since namatay daw si Richard Rogers, akala na nila hindi nagbabasa Richard Rogers ay isasagot Work Center Pompidou. Pero, ang nakalagay kasi, Center Pompidou, Metz. Kaya huwag masyadong ma-excite. Next. Who is the architect of Hong Kong Shanghai Bank in Hong Kong? Norman Foster. And Sir Norman Foster's most famous work in Hong Kong where he used a diagrid as a structural concept, HSBC building. Who is Kevin Lin? Siyempre, image of the city. And the designer of First Unitarian Church is Louis Kahn. Baka malito, hindi siya si Ed Sheeran, ha? Dito niya sinabi yung even a bricks wants to be something. So, 127, tallest cathedral or world's tallest church. Ayan, world's tallest church, Alminster. So, ito yung lumabas ng board exam namin na question din akong church. Then, who is the architect of Kaufman House? Frank Lloyd Wright. Pero, wait, there's more. If they are referring to Falling Water, kasi ang isang pangalan din ng Kaufman House ay Falling Water. Pero, kapag yung Kaufman House na dinesign sa Palm Springs, California, which was designed by Richard Neutra, pero kapag yung Kaufman House sa Palm Springs, California, yun ay designed by Richard Neutra. Kaya, i-check nyo na lang din. Sa board exam naman, hindi ganyan kaikli ang question. Yung mga ganyan kaikling question, kaya who's the architect of Kaufman House, parang lang yan, yung mga pang-local architects, yun yung mga kaikling question. Who's the architect of SM Mall, yun lang kaikli. Pero pag sa ibang bansa, mahaba ang descriptions nila kadalas. Kasi nga siguro, dahil may mga ganyan, similar names. Next. Works of Louis Kahn. So, be familiar na lang din sa mga works ni Louis Kahn. Isa sa mga kilala niyang works ay First Unitarian Church, Sharon Bangla Nagar sa Bangladesh, the Salk Institute na lumalabas din sa board exam, and the Kindle Art Museum. Ito, si Louis Kahn, mukhang favorite siya ng PRBO at 2 beses na siya lumalabas sa board exam. Na magkasunod. Malay niyo lumabas ulit, or baka this time, tapos na ang spotlight ni Louis Kahn, alisin naman nila. Next. Works of Walter Gropius. And the Fabulous Factory, which is his first work nung umalis siya kay Peter Brents. Then, Bauhaus, syempre, dyan siya mas nakilala. Diba? Kay Walter Gropius, may immortality ang T-square. Next. Alvar Aalto for Helsinki Polytechnical University. Lumabas last board exam tungkol sa Finlandia Hall. And, ayan, isa sa mga kilala niya yung work sa yung MIT Baker House. And, say na, basta yun na yung town hall. Finish kasi. Next. For Peter Burns naman, the AEG Turbine Factory. So si Peter Burns, kung familiar kayo, siya yung dating boss ni Mies van der Rohe, Walter Gropius, and Le Corbusier, bago magsulo-sulo itong mga to. Because of his influence, kaya talagang namulat sa practicality and dun sa idea ng modernism itong tatlong modern master architects natin. Next. Famous works of Andrea Palladio. May tatalo pa ba sa kanyang La Rotunda or La Rotunda? So, La Rotunda or the Villa Capra, then these are his other works. Isa rin sa mga kilalang work niya rin yung Teatro Olimpico. Then, what brought about the closure of Bauhaus, World War II? And then, why did the members of Bauhaus migrate to the US? Because of war. Then, 136, Brasilia, the capital of Brazil, was chosen as a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its modernist architecture. Who was this architect who helped the president and also designed several of the residential, commercial, and government buildings in a span of few months? Hindi siya nang magaling, siya na talagang masipag. So the answer is Karen Oka or si Oscar Niemeyer. Next, related dun sa Brasilia, he won the competition for the layout of Brasilia that was organized by the architect described as the Great Kings of Curve. So ito, naichika ko na rin sa inyo to nung kompre, di ba? Yung kung maalala nyo yung Guess Who, naichika ko na yan, yung Luto Competition, Lucio Costa. Next. Yan, pureba na sila yan. At ito yung tinutukoy na president. Ayan, ito pala. Ito lang makita yung tinuturo ko. Ito yung presidente na yan. Magtuturo kayong tatlo eh. Next. The building shown in the figure, designed by Oscar Niemeyer, was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is located in the main street of Brasilia. So, syempre, pag gano'n, yun na lang, para mabilis nyo naman din maalala ang mga architects na yan. Pag Brazilian architect, isa lang naman ang kilalang Brazilian master architect, and that is Oscar Niemeyer. Yeah, pag Finnish architect, yung mga paulit-ulit lang din ang apelyido, Eero Saarinen, may mga double A, Eliel Saarinen, and Alvar Aalto. Yung mga ganyan-ganyan lang din naman ang mga pag gusto nila maging familiar sa mga architects na yan. The next, realization and transition of industrialization with modern architecture, mass production. Next, a controversial style defined as the ideas of fragmentation, non-rectilinear shape, which serves to distort and dislocate some of the elements of architecture. The finished visual appearance of the buildings is characterized by unpredictability and controlled chaos. So, makikita yung mga hina-highlight ko dyan para rin sa mga nalilito sa mga architectural styles. So, basahin nyo lang hanapin nyo yung talagang key terms na sinasabi. Pagdating dito sa architectural style na to, ideas of fragmentation, non-rectilinear shapes, ano yun, magulo, o related dyan, ay unpredictability and controlled chaos. So, mag-isip ka lang talaga ng magugulong architectural style. May eclecticism, ganyan, deconstructivism. So, ano ba yung mga magugulong architectural styles? Tatanggalin na natin, method of elimination muna, yung mga maayos na architectural style. And that is international style and modernism. Bakit? It is more of functionality. Kasi practicality. Imposible papasok yan sa ideas of fragmentation and non-rectilinear shape. Kasi pag ganyan ka, marami mo dead spaces, practicality nga ang main idea ng modernism and international style. So, kung expressionism naman, it is more of to amuse the audience or the viewers. So, talagang ang pinakapasok na pasok dyan ay deconstructivism. Next. This architectural style is identified by three principles: the expression of volume rather than mass, and the emphasis on balance rather than preconceived, symmetry, and the expulsion of applied ornaments. I guess na umay na kayo dyan, saka paulit-ulit ko na the voiding of all ornaments. So, ang tamang sagot dyan, ang tamang sagot dyan ay international style. Next, forerunner of minimalism. Siyempre, Mais van der Rohe, na-discuss ko na naman din, proud ako na-discuss ko yun sa compre, na considered as the proponent of minimalism, si Mais van der Rohe, and yung best example or best representation niya ng minimalism ay yung Barcelona Pavilion. Then, forerunner of green architecture, sinasabi ni architect Jeboy Geron na masyado daw vague daw itong question na to dahil masyado daw vague na question, dahil masyadong vague yung green architecture. Pwede nga daw yan kung green architecture itself daw si Ebenezer Howard for the Garden City movement kasi it really promotes green architecture. Pero hindi architect kasi si Ebenezer Howard, siya ay businessman. Kaya most probably hindi rin siya. Siguro, yan lang yung naaalala. Pero mas maganda, mas makuha din yung sagot kapag kunya naibigay yung choices, pwede tayo din mag-method of elimination para ma-figure out kung sino ba yung tinutukoy na pwedeng forerunner of green architecture. And then next, ito, super sure dito sa forerunner of postmodernism, no other than Robert Venturi. Bakit? Dahil sa kanya kaya nakilala postmodernism because of his book, Complexity and Contradiction. Sila yan together with Dennis Brown yan talaga. Next. Fantastic architecture, who is the father of this style, Anthony Gaudi. Then, mixture of elements from previous historical style, eclecticism. Next, architectural style originated in Florence, Renaissance. Then, architectural style centered on the dissolution and reconstitution of individual characteristics of three-dimensional forms using simplified geometric shapes. Na dito nag-originate yung idea ng Purism ni Le Corbusier. So, the answer for this one is QBC. Next, 149 modernism is a style characterized primarily by simplification of form and the elimination of ornament. Next, 150, from the given figure, identify the architectural style used. So, the answer is Art Deco. Ito, geometric style. Then, what design motif does the drawing represent? Kung familiar, ito ay yung window pattern or itong specific na drawing na ito yung window ng Roby House. Kaya pag Roby House yan, automatic ang tinatanong kasi niyan yung motif daw or yung patterns. Eh ang Roby House, pag sinabi ang Roby House ay Prairie style or Prairie School or architectural style. Then pag sinabing Prairie, it is a combination of American architecture and Art Deco and organic architecture na parang sinasabing yun ay may tuturing na American architecture. So the answer for this one is Art Deco. Wow, bakit nag-request sa break? Kaka-break lang, may kasyang hilig nyo sa break. Napapaghalataan. Tuloy-tuloy na to guys, ang haba ng break natin kanina. 1 minute, ito, i-ano ko na lang muna to. Sige. 2 minutes. Sige, then this one ay 153. Tudor art. So, bibigyan ko kayo ng 3 minutes na break. Siyempre, yung iba tatayo pa. Oh. Kaya 5 minutes na dali na. Magsiihi na kayo dyan bago masinuuna pang mag-comment muna. Yung iba gusto na nga matapos, bilisan na nga natin dyan. Ako, pinayagan ko lang mag-break na muna ng 5 minutes kasi po nakikita ko na lang sa comment, CR break. Kaya, ayun. 5 minutes lang, ha? Hanggang 11 lang tayo. At kung ayaw nyo, baka ma-extend tayo ng baka ma-extend tayo ng, ano nga ba to? Ng 20 minutes. Wala kayo dyan, wala kayong break kalo. Okay na ba? Next na daw. At pilitin na natin to, ha? So, next. 154. When did abstractionism flourish? So, 20th century. Then, sinong isa sa mga 21st century architect na kilala when it comes to abstractionism? Siyempre yan ay si Rem Koolhaas. Mas abstractionism siya kaysa deconstructivism. Pero yun, lagi lang sinasabi, para to simplify, dahil mas kilala yung term na deconstructivism, kaya kinakategorize na yun siya as deconstructivism. Pero mas abstractionism yung style niya. The next, characteristic of Russian architectural style, onion domes. Then, how long did it take to finish this project? 182 years. Then, largest and oldest bells pala. Oh my gosh. So, the answer is Emmanuel, the largest and oldest bell of Notre Dame Cathedral. Then, this period is characterized by intersecting tracery windows. Gothic period. Then, how are church mostly oriented? East. Next. Gothic Cathedral and its interior displays. The night of the church. Then, Villa Capra or Dalotunga of Andrea Palladio is an example of Palladian architecture. Si Andrea Palladio lang ang pinakakilalang architect na ipinangalan sa kanya ang architectural style or ang isa sa mga kilalang architectural style. Then, next. Palace Garnier is named after the architect Charles Garnier. So, it's a fine example of box art. Next. The Palace of Westminster shown in figure C is Gothic Revival, Westminster. That's the Westminster Abbey. Then, architect who won the design for figure C is Charles Barry. Then, Anthony Gaudi's Casa Mila, also known as the La Pedrera, is an example of modernism. Yeah. La Pedrera is modernism. Correct. Siyempre, ang modernism is another term for Catalan Art Nouveau. Ayan. Kaya ako napaka kasi baka bigla kayo nagtaka at bakit mali ang sagot ko sa 66 kasi kapag nakaalala ko ito na yung kasunod na question. Di pala ito si figure E. Ito pala 166 nga pala. Si figure E, Times Square building of Ralph Thomas Walker is an example of Art Deco. Yun. Siya. Wala namang highlight pero Art Deco for figure E. And then the answer for 167 is Trompe-l'oeil and 168 is Proportion. Then 169 Fox painting. Then 170 is Baroque. 171 between an architectural style between the High Renaissance and Baroque period is mannerism. Be familiar talaga with architectural style. Talagang kasi sa mga descriptions na ilalagay din diyan, sinasama din yung mga timelines or yung year kung kailan nag-flourish, din wala. Ayun. So, kapag mga ganyan tinatanong yung between Renaissance or Baroque, so dapat familiar kayo dun sa timeline din. Then revival of medieval Gothic architecture was a weekend Gothic revival. Then 173, it is the eclectic style of domestic architecture of the 1870s and 1880s. Queen Anne style. Then characteristic of Ryan Anne style, bar tracery, circular windows with rotating tracery, and it is also prominent with rose windows. Kaya parang ano rin siya. Kasama ng high Gothic style. Then perpendicular style characterized by an emphasis on vertical lines, slimmer stone mullions for windows, buttresses divided into vertical panels and fan bolts. Then 176, a style influenced by geometric figures, Renaissance. What periodic style is characterized by the use of curvilinear tracery in the 14th century? Decorated Gothic. Next, architectural style that rose in the 17th century, Baroque or late Renaissance. Then, by the way dito, kung wala yung Baroque, pwedeng sagot dyan ay late Renaissance. Next, gargoyles are predominantly used in what kind of style? So, syempre kapag gargoyles yan, automatic Gothic architecture lang, isang Gothic style lang yan. Then, architecture is characterized by monumentality and grandeur, as in their temples and tombs. Then, Assyrian. Then, what is a valley building? A valley temple, a part of a pyramid complex, often believed to be used for mummification of pharaoh. Next. empty tomb is called, yan, cenotaph. Then, the National Museum building is, what is the character of National Museum building? Confidence and stability. Then, architectural character of Arellano's post office, confidence and stability. Next, what hotel is in the holy city of Islam with tension roofing? Intercontinental Hotel and Conference Center. Then, yun na nga, characteristics of Byzantine architecture, combination of basilica, symmetrical central plan, Greek cross plan church. Most distinct feature was domed roof, either squinch or pendentive. Next, characteristics of Gothic architecture, thin walls. Ito, parang dapat na-highlight ko nga din to eh. Ayan, pero pareha silang lumabas doon sa board exam. Pero hindi naman yung ang mga questions naman ay related dito sa mga characteristics nila. Kaya be familiar. So, for Gothic architecture, thin walls, pointed arches, large stained glass windows, ribbed vaults, flying buttresses, ornate decorations, pinnacles, spires, and gargoyles. Next. 188 characteristics of Gothic Europe. So may pagka-weird to kasi sa specific sa Europe dahil marami tayong iba't ibang Gothic style sa Europe. Meron French Gothic, Spanish Gothic, diba, Italian Gothic. The next, it is referred to the rebirth of the classic. So the answer is Renaissance. Another name for late Renaissance in England is Jacobean. Then, what do you call the late Renaissance in Italy? High Renaissance. The next, what is another term for crenelle? Embrasures. Then identify the crenelle, yun lang naman din siya. Yung spacing between the merlons. Then, the act of adding crenelles to previously unbroken parapet is termed crenellation. Then, what is the main purpose of medieval castle? Protection or defense. So, yung idea talaga nito ay, ang medieval castle is the best example of military architecture or defensive architecture. Next. What do you call this? Gliding door in a medieval castle. Portcullis. Then, a deep, broad ditch, either dry or filled with water that surrounds the castle. It is the preliminary line of defense mode. So, para hindi makatawid yung enemies. Then, yung way lang, syempre, para makapasok ka sa castle, ay kapag binaba nila yung drawbridge. Ito yun. Then, pag yung enemies ay nagtatangkang makapasok sa castle naman, bababa nila yung portcullis, para napakabigat na niya, na metal door, para hindi makapag-penetrate. Pero, yan yung mga first line of their defense sa isang medieval castle. Next, 98 is bastion. 99 is palisade. Yung palisade ay mga wooden stakes ha. Next, bartisan. So yan. Yan, pakita pala. Then, drawbridge. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na ibinababa, movable bridge, para lang makatawid, makapag-pass through sa moat. Pero iangan nila yan kapag enemy yung nagtatangkang pumasok. Then, serves as a shelter and protection for the sentinels, garita. Then it is the last line of defense before the keep itself. So yung keep itself, yung keep, nandun yung key. O sakali. Then considered as the fall of the castle, of the territory na. Kapag umabot na sa keep yung enemies or na capture na nila yung yung king. Kasi syempre, ang dami mong nadaanan na line of defense. Ibig sabihin napaka-strong na talaga ng enemy at na-penetrate nila yung mga levels of defense na yan. So, before the keep, dadaan muna sa citadel. Next, buttresses or buttress. Then, 205 solitary room. Next, manor house, then refectory, and allure. Ito yung sa allure. Next, common in Chinese and in Japanese and Chinese architecture, pagoda. Yan, alam ko sa inyo maga pa lang pagoda na ang lahat. Pero when it comes to Japanese, compared to Japanese pagoda is square in plan and made of wood, while Chinese pagoda is octagonal in plan and are made of wood, masonry, glaze style, or porcelain. Next, what architectural style during the 13th and 14th century is characterized by receding lines? Ayan, Gothic architecture. Kaya be familiar talaga with the centuries and timeline. Next, 211. It is characterized by the grouping of small domes or semi-domes around a large central dome. So, ewan ko lang kung hindi pa kayo maumay dito. Kaninang umaga ko pa sinasabi to. Pag dito nagkamali pa talaga kayo, oh my gosh, talaga nang malala sa inyo. Byzantine architecture, ha? Next. During the 18th century, into the 19th century, 19th century, our country was influenced by what type of architecture? Siyempre, Baroque. Then, what do you call the period during the 17th century? Characterized by Rhineland windows. Ito, may pagka-confusing lang kasi yung 17th century is characterized, is Roman era. However, Rhineland windows can be characterized in the Renaissance style. So, baka lang naman talaga, nagkamali lang ng century. Ng pagkakalagay, pero ayun lang, may pagka-confusing lang. Malaking factor kasi yung century pagdating sa kung paano or yung period kung paano i-characterize yung architectural style. Next,